The Vatican, a place of piety and spiritual guidance, hides a complex and controversial history. Its walls have witnessed both the divine and the diabolical, a juxtaposition that has shaped its legacy. We imagine the papacy as a chain of saintly men, but reality is far more complicated. Behind the holy facade, there were men with ambitions, flaws, and secrets. Power corrupts, and the papacy has wielded immense power for centuries. This power has influenced not just the church, but the course of history itself. With power came temptation, and not all men could resist. The allure of wealth, influence, and earthly pleasures often proved too strong. This series delves into the darker side of the Catholic Church. We will explore the hidden corridors and secret chambers where shadows of the past linger. We'll uncover stories of popes who fell from grace, trading piety for pleasure. Their actions left indelible marks on the Church's history. These men cast a long shadow over the legacy of St. Peter. Their stories are a testament to the complex nature of power and faith. Join us as we explore their reigns and the lasting scars they left on the Church. Through their tales, we seek to understand the true impact of their legacies. Our journey begins with Rodrigo Borgia, who ascended to the papacy as Pope Alexander VI in 1492. Born into a powerful and influential Spanish family, Alexander was known for his charm, ambition, and ruthless nature. His papacy was mired in controversy from the very beginning, with numerous accusations of simony, the selling of church offices, and flagrant nepotism. He elevated his children to positions of power and influence, including his son Cesare, who became a cardinal at the tender age of 18. His daughter Lucrezia was used as a pawn in his deadly and intricate games of power and politics. Alexander's papacy was marked by debauchery, political intrigue, and bloodshed, with many of his enemies meeting untimely and suspicious ends, often whispered to be the result of Cesare's infamous use of poison, a tool he wielded with deadly precision. John XII's papacy was an outright disgrace. Elected at 18, he turned the Lateran Palace into a den of debauchery. Accusations of gambling, toasting to the devil, and violence plagued his reign. His behavior was catastrophic for the struggling papacy. Enemies used his debauchery against him, leading to his violent end. John XII was murdered, allegedly by a jealous husband. His reign remains a dark chapter in papal history. The Cadaver Synod is one of the most bizarre and macabre events in the long and tumultuous history of the papacy. Pope Stephen VI, driven by powerful Roman families and political intrigue, put his predecessor Formosus on trial in a shocking display of power and vengeance. Formosus was dead for several months, but Stephen had his body exhumed from its resting place and dressed in full papal regalia, as if he were still alive. The corpse was propped up on a throne in St. Peter's Basilica, a place of reverence now turned into a courtroom for this grotesque trial. Stephen accused Formosus of perjury, violating canon law, and other serious charges, all while the lifeless body sat before him. A deacon was appointed to speak on behalf of the deceased Formosus, but the outcome was predetermined, a mere formality in this spectacle of humiliation. Formosus was found guilty of all charges, and his papacy was declared null and void, erasing his contributions and legacy. His body was then desecrated further, stripped of its vestments, and unceremoniously dumped into the Tiber River, a final act of degradation. Pope Benedict IX's story is a dark comedy of errors. He was pope 3 times, each marked by excess and scandal. Ascending to the papal throne at 12, his papacy was a disaster. He engaged in simony, neglected duties, and indulged in vice. Driven out of Rome, he returned with an army to reclaim his throne. He sold the papacy to his godfather, only to stage a comeback. Met with armed resistance, he was excommunicated and disgraced. Benedict IX left a legacy of chaos and corruption. Pope Urban VI's reign marked a turning point in papal history. His actions plunged the Church into the Western Schism. Elected amidst reformist zeal, Urban was abrasive and prone to rage. He alienated the cardinals, who declared his election invalid. They elected Clement VII, who set up in Avignon, France. The Western Schism divided the Church for nearly 40 years. This schism weakened the Church's authority and moral credibility. These stories offer a glimpse into the human heart and the intoxicating nature of power. They remind us that the Church, for all its divine aspirations, is a human institution. The echoes of these popes' reigns reverberate through history. Their corruption left an indelible stain on the papacy. Their stories challenge us to confront institutional flaws and demand accountability. As we reflect, we strive for a more just